sen?
Once upon a time, far away from the city, Mother Goat and her 7 little goats lived happily in a farm in the forest. One day, the farm animals woke up to something that sounded like grunts coming from the forest. They had never heard this before.
What's that noise, Mom?
I don't know, dear. We'll find out soon enough.
Mom, I'm scared.
Me too. These sounds are scary.
Mother Goat put on some clothes so she could go outside and find out what was going on.
Stay here and wait for me. Do not open the door for strangers. Understand?
Understood.
Mother Goat left home and went to meet with the other animals of the farm. But the noises were getting louder and scarier. The scared little goats hid under the table.
We have to find out where those grunts are coming from. Chickens aren't laying eggs and cows are not producing milk because they're afraid.
Yes, we have to find a solution immediately. Otherwise, we'll starve to death.
Just then, the noise stopped. And everything went back to normal.
What just happened?
Hooray! It's gone. Everything's back to normal.
Still, we should look into it.
Is that really necessary? See, it's gone.
What if it happens again?
We'll find a solution then. Don't be so pessimistic.
Come on, everybody, get to work.
All animals went back to work as if nothing had happened. The next day, they woke up to those dreadful sounds again. Like the day before, the sounds died down at noon. Nobody but Mother Goat was worried. Mother Goat was bewildered, but there was nothing she could do. Concerned, she went home where the little goats were awaiting her.
Mom, what's happening?
We don't know, honey.
Is no one doing anything?
Crestfallen Mother Goat looked down. It was upsetting not knowing what to tell her kids. As it got dark, everyone at the farm went to sleep. 7 pairs of eyes were wide open in the dark. The kids couldn't sleep.
We have to figure this out.
But how?
Investigate and head in the direction where we heard the noise.
The guard won't let us out this late at night.
But how do we get out without being seen?
I have an idea. Listen to me.
The old guard was dozing off. Suddenly, he saw 3 big silhouettes approaching. He immediately stood up and pointed the flashlight at them. The little goats were wearing Mother Goat's clothes. They had climbed on top of each other so they could look bigger.
Who are you? Where are you going at this hour?
We are craving fresh grass. There's none left at home.
I can't let you out at this late. It's dangerous out there.
If we don't eat, we won't have the strength to work tomorrow, right, girls?
The guard didn't know what to say. It was the first time he had to deal with something like this.
All right, you can go, but come back quickly.
The mischievous little goats disappeared into the night. They got off of each other behind the first tree and went toward where the noise came from during the day. They walked for a long time and finally they arrived at an empty field illuminated by huge lamps. There was heavy equipment, building materials, and chopped down trees everywhere.
This doesn't look good.
We should tell Mom about this.
No, you won't be telling anyone. I'll chop every tree in the forest and sell the lumber. I'll be very rich. You nosy brats can't stop me.
We should have guessed.
The wolf tied the little goats firmly and locked them in a room. The poor kids were so scared, but they didn't show their fear in front of the wolf.
We have to get out.
How? We must stop the wolf from destroying the whole forest.
Can anyone think of something?
There, we'll be free.
First, they nibbled on the ropes, just as their mother had taught them. The ones who broke free helped free the others. Then they climbed on top of one another to reach the air vent and climbed out. There was no one in sight, but they could hear the wolf snoring. The little goat sent 2 of their siblings back to the farm to tell others about it.
If he cuts down all the trees, all the creatures in the forest will die too.
We must stop him.
How?
They huddled and whispered their plan to each other. Meanwhile, 2 of the little goats reached the farm. Unfortunately, the old guard had fallen asleep, so they couldn't get inside. The fence was too high for them to jump over it. The little goats came up with a solution. While one crouched, the other one got on top of its back to jump over the fence.
Come on, inside.
The 2 little goats ran to their house and woke their mum up. They told her everything they had seen and what had happened to them.
Come on, let's get to work.
Meanwhile, at the construction site, 2 little goats found glue among the building materials and poured it all over the wolf who was sleeping. The other 3 little goats climbed on the backhoe, an excavating machine. While one operated the steering wheel, the other one sat on the brake and accelerator pedal. The third one operated the machine's massive loader. The little goat that operated the steering wheel turned on the ignition and the machine roared to life. The little goats were nervous, but they were determined to put their plan into action. The little goat in charge of the pedals pushed down the accelerator, and the machine started to gain speed. The third little goat operated the machine's loader. The wolf woke up when he heard the noise. He immediately realized what was happening.
You miserable goats, so you managed to escape.
No matter how hard the wolf tried, he couldn't get up. He didn't understand what was holding him back. In a final effort, he lunged forward, and his fur got stuck to the bed due to the glue the little goats had poured. The wolf ran after the backhoe. He stopped in front of it just as the machine was about to enter the area where all the lumber and chopped trees were.
Stop right there, you miserable goats.
The little goats brought the machine to a sudden stop.